Hello friends of the channel VisionCrypto. Today we urgently need to talk about Bitcoin. There is an indicator that has been very often correct in the past, and this indicator on the daily chart has turned bearish for Bitcoin. That means we have a bearish cross on an indicator, and I want to discuss this with you because it could very well be, as mentioned, on the daily chart that we will feel this significantly. We will talk about which indicator this is and how this indicator and its consequences could affect the chart, and above all, whether these bearish tendencies are already sustainable or if the chart could only temporarily develop bearishly. My name is Arian from VisionCrypto. I wish you a lot of fun now, and let's go. The indicator we need to talk about is the MACD. The MACD is a lagging indicator that is based on past average prices and reflects a tendency of whether the price could rise or fall. Now there are clear indicators that can say, okay, you have a bullish crossover. This means you can assume that the prices will most likely rise. And there is a bearish indicator, SLAO, meaning a bearish crossover, where you can assume that the prices will fall. And you can measure the whole thing by these two lines that you see here. That is the blue and the brown line. And it is such that when the price crosses this brown line from top to bottom, then it is a bearish cross. And we just observed that yesterday on the daily chart, which means something like this can also drag on a bit. And it has also happened repeatedly in the past. Now I want to go through the last 2 years with you to see how often this indicator has triggered bearishly and how often we were correct. Now let's take a look at the whole thing. We had a bearish cross here. Court decisions were made. That here up there was a bear through the decision, and now we are here in this bear through the decision. Means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this is now the 10th bearish cross signal within roughly the last 2 years, min, that Bitcoin has seen on the daily chart. And now let's see how often this indicator is actually accurate. For that, we'll bring up the chart and go through it together to see when the price actually dropped due to the indicator. We had a bearish cross here and can see that the price fell afterward. Next, there was a bearish cross here, but the price rose instead. This means we were wrong once here. After that, we had a bearish cross here. This means the price still continued to rise. So we were wrong a second time here. Next, we had a bearish cross here and the price actually fell. We were right again there. Then we had another bearish cross here. The price fell. Here we had a bearish cross. The price fell. Then we had a bearish cross here. The price also fell. Then we had a bearish cross up here. However, the price continued to rise. This means we were wrong here as well. Then we had another bearish cross here and the price fell again. And next, we see this bearish cross here. And the question arises, will we fall again? So overall, we have now seen a bearish cross 9 times. And in 2/3 of the cases, the price actually fell afterward. So out of 9 times, we saw falling prices 6 times. Now you will surely ask yourself, to what extent can these bearish crosses influence the Bitcoin price? And is it realistic to assume that prices could now decline? Let's take a look at the chart now. Here on the chart, you can clearly see that we have had a stronger increase recently. Incidentally, the MACD also predicted this increase because we had a bullish cross here in March. This means the indicator showed us, okay, the prices could rise now, and that was indeed the case. Now it must be said that after every increase, it's normal for a correction to occur so that the price doesn't overheat and to ensure a healthy price rise. And there are now 2 scenarios in which the price could fall, and I personally assume yes, it will fall. Either it will fall immediately, which we will look at on the 4-hour chart, or it will fall soon. Overall, I assume we will fall in a currently bearish trend that is still bullish. This is the white count here. And in that, according to the white count, it would be like this. Let me make this a bit clearer. That after our low point here in the potential, Wave 4, this needs to move over here. We have developed a wave A and are now moving downwards in a wave B, which unfortunately only has a vague price target. This means the price could now fall to 88,000 US dollars. At a minimum, it should go that far, but it could also fall down to a good 79,000 US dollars at the peak before the price turns again and we develop a wave C before we then come to our last rise since our run in November 2022. It would look more bearish if we assume that the bull run is more or less already over. Then it would be the yellow count that would gain the upper hand. And in that case, we would have developed a bearish wave since our peak. That would have already been in January, and the price would now completely plummet, and we would then reach prices that might already play around 50,000 US dollars. I must say, however, that I always draw both chart structures, the bullish and the bearish, because a chart can always go up and also down. But of course, I do have a favorite, and this favorite is the white count, in which we practically only have an intermediate correction, and then the bull run should continue further. For those interested in these analyses and who say, yes, I want regular updates, you can book an analysis for Bitcoin or many other prices from me. The whole thing is relatively inexpensive and you can choose from several charts. It's best to check the video link to Patreon below. There, all the courses I am currently analyzing are listed. You can book them individually. There are subscribers who have been subscribed to the chart for a very long time, even multiple ones, and are very satisfied. But there are also people who say, I'll take a look at the whole thing and after a month I realize, okay, this is not my type of analysis, and they leave again. So that means no binding contracts or large packages that you have to book, but rather individually, tailored to your situation. And for all those who are new to the crypto market, you probably still need an exchange where you can register relatively quickly to perhaps trade something like this with a short position, for example. And you don't want to submit a ton of documents at the heavily regulated exchanges. Then take a look at CoinEx. At CoinEx you can easily register with just an email address and a password. And you're in and can start trading actively. And lastly, even though the exchange is not very well known, it has been on the market for over 7 years, almost as long as Binance. That's why it's a very secure platform. The link for this is also in the video description below. Now let's take a final look at the chart on the 4-hour chart. And here we have two possibilities. Either we immediately drop into this wave B in my favorite count and are already in this sell-off that is starting now, or we slightly turn again, which is also possible, and move one level higher. This means we could build another level upwards here before this pullback occurs, before it goes into this last wave upwards, where we then have a chance to establish a new all-time high again. Even with this bearish count, which I have now drawn here on the 4-hour chart in yellow, it is such that the price could theoretically still set a high before the bearish count becomes active. But as I said, this is only included on the chart for the sake of completeness, because I'm not a channel that wants to tell you any moon prices and just hype you in one direction. Of course, I would also prefer if the bull run continues now, but it is also possible that the bull run is over, and that's why, as an investor, you should always keep both directions in mind, and as a speculator, who willingly takes risks and always enters the market optimistically, you can of course neglect this spherical aspect, but then this is definitely the wrong channel. If you liked my content, as always, thumbs up, a comment. How do you evaluate the whole thing? Do you think we're going to crash through now? Is there an interim correction or is it all bullshit? Write it in the comments. And if you don't want to miss anything, then subscribe to my channel for more videos. I wish you a nice day now. Good business. Until the next video, and bye.